welcome back to my channel. I am Heather if you don't know me. If you do know me, then you already know that I am Heather, so welcome back. Today I'm going to be filming a video about type 1 diabetes because for those of you that don't know, I have that. Surprise! One of my friends suggested filming this video for you guys, and then I asked you and most of you were interested, so I was like, hey, why not? Because I know that I've never really seen that many people do videos about type 1 diabetes, so I just thought I would. I mean, you guys probably don't care because the majority of you probably don't have type 1 diabetes, but you don't have to watch the video, I guess, but I just, wanted to talk about it. Before I get into anything, I just want to say that I am not a doctor and anything that I say in this video is just what I do, what works for me, and I don't want anyone out here thinking that I'm trying to be a doctor because I am not a doctor. So, yes. Let's just get right into the video. So there are two types of diabetes. Actually, there's more, but there are two main types of diabetes, and that is type 1 and type 2. I have type 1, so that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video, but I'm just going to explain to you what type 1 diabetes is. So I have a definition on my laptop I'm just going to read to you. Type 1 diabetes, once known as juvenile diabetes or insulin-dependent diabetes, is a chronic condition in which the pancreas produces little or no insulin. Insulin is a hormone needed to allow sugar, glucose, to enter cells to produce energy. So that is what I have. Basically what happens, if I am not mistaken, is your immune system attacks the cells in your pancreas that produce insulin, so they no longer produce it or they produce very little. So that's just... It's not something that I did to cause it to happen. It just sort of happened. My immune system was just like, hey, we're just going to attack these cells. Sorry, but we're just going to do that. That's what happened. So, yes. Anyways, so I was diagnosed with diabetes at age 13. It was the summer after 8th grade, so I haven't had it for that long. It's been about 4 or 5 years. But yeah, I haven't had it since I was a baby or anything, but... Yes, so basically that summer I was losing a lot of weight very quickly. I was very, very skinny. I think before everything started I was around 100 pounds, 110 pounds, and then after it I was at around 70 pounds. So obviously that is not healthy considering what my weight was before. But because I saw myself every day and my family saw me every day, nobody really noticed what was happening. But I know that my mom said that my grandparents mentioned to her that I was losing a lot of weight and they were a bit concerned, but she never said that to me. Along with losing weight, I was very, very thirsty all the time. I would go through a venti Starbucks cup of water at bedtime and a water bottle within 30 minutes, which is... a lot of water, and then because of that I would have to pee 24/7, and these are common symptoms that people get when they have untreated diabetes. And I was also just really tired all the time, so things were not going too well. I got an infection in my mouth. It was like a rash inside my mouth, and this was because of the diabetes, but I didn't know that. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor just gave me some medicine for that, but I also got my blood drawn so that they could check that because they were probably thinking, oh, this is a bit abnormal. And so I got my blood taken, and then that night, the doctor's office called me and was like, hey, you need to go to the hospital right now. And my parents were like, okay. So we drove to the hospital. I was kind of confused about what the heck was going on, but we went there. They brought me in. We had to wait 3 hours or something in the emergency room for anyone to come and help me. But they put an IV in, basically told me that my blood sugar was at 30, which I know the way blood sugar is measured is different in Canada than it is in, say, the US, so I will try to figure out the translation of that, but it was 30, which is very, very high for how it's measured in Canada, but I believe it's very low for how that's measured in the US, but I will kind of do that little translation on the screen for you. So after that, I finally got admitted into a room, and I spent about almost a week in the hospital, which is usually not normal. Usually I have to spend like 3 days or something. But I was diagnosed on a Friday, so all of the doctors basically that I needed to see that could teach me stuff weren't going to be there until Monday or whatever. So I basically was just chilling in the hospital. Let me tell you, the food was disgusting, but it's fine. The first morning that I was there, they gave me pancakes, and I was like, oh my god, maybe like the food won't be that bad here, but it just went downhill from there. But that's just a story for another time. So basically in the hospital, they just taught me and my parents sort of everything I needed to know. They gave me insulin pens, which I will go grab and show you. Okay, so these are the insulin pens. This is what the case looks like, and then you just open that bad boy right up, and it looks like this. And then this is like the insulin vial. You put a little needle on top of there, and I would have to give myself injections with this. I'd like use this thing to decide the amount. And I used these pens with my diabetes for about a year. At the beginning of using them, I'm not sure what it's called, but it was basically where I had to inject myself just at specific times every day, and then I had to have a specific amount of carbohydrates every day. So I was really hungry during that period of my diabetes life because I couldn't eat that much. But after a little bit, they switched me to multiple daily injections, which basically meant that I would inject myself with insulin just whenever I ate, and I could eat whenever I wanted and how much I wanted. So that was quite a bit better than before. After about a year of having diabetes though, and doing those daily injections, I got an insulin pump. This is not my first pump. Before I had an Animus pump. This is a Medtronic pump because Animus discontinued their pumps, so yes, but basically what an insulin pump does is it delivers insulin to you 24/7, so it's always connected to my body by a little inset site, and it's always giving me just like the base amount of insulin, because that's what your body does basically, is when you're just going out your daily routine, it's always giving you insulin, and then when you eat, it obviously gives you more insulin because it has to account for the food you're eating and change it into energy and all that stuff. So yes, that's what this does. So I'm always wearing this. It's always giving me insulin, and then when I eat, I use it to give myself extra insulin to account for my food. So a common misconception about type 1 diabetes is that I can't eat whatever I want, and this is probably because with type 2 diabetes, oftentimes there are more heavy dietary restrictions with that one. But with type 1 diabetes, I can pretty much eat whatever I want, whenever I want, as long as I give myself insulin for it. So a lot of times people will be like, are you sure you can eat that? Like, can you eat sugar, whatever? And yes, I can. I can eat whatever you eat as long as I deal with it. Because basically, my insulin pump is just my pancreas on the outside of my body doing what your pancreas does inside of your body. When I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I was very upset. I was embarrassed. I was really just not looking forward to it. And I struggled a bit at the beginning to sort of get my blood sugar numbers normal, but now I am pretty I'm pretty good at taking care of it. So every 3 months, I go to my diabetes clinic, and they take my A1C, which is basically my blood sugar average. That's what I'll call it, my blood sugar average. And I'm always at about a 6, which is very, very good. So I'm just going to tell you guys how I sort of manage that, keep my blood sugars at good levels. So a huge thing about keeping your blood sugar at a good level is carb counting when you're eating, because basically the carbs is what the insulin is accounting for. So you have to make sure that you're giving yourself enough insulin for what you're eating. Something that really helps me with carb counting is I have this scale. I'll try to find a picture of it and insert it. And it comes with this book of all the foods that you could ever think of. And basically you can weigh your food, and it'll like tell you how many grams it is, and then you can put the amount of carbs into your pump, and then your pump will give you the correct amount of insulin for that, if that makes sense. So that really, really helps me when I'm at home. I use that pretty much every day. And then because I've had diabetes for about 5 years, I'm getting pretty good at being able to sort of guess, which obviously is not the best option, but sometimes you don't really have a choice. So if I'm out at a restaurant and I can't get the carb information, I can pretty much guesstimate how many carbs something is by looking at it. But I wouldn't recommend this on a day-to-day basis, just sort of when you have no other choice. That's when I do that. Another thing that's really helpful is that almost all food packages have nutritional information on the back of them, and it will tell you the carbs per serving size, which is really helpful. And I also use that quite often because, you know, gotta know how many carbs I'm eating so I can take care of myself. Another huge thing about being safe and keeping yourself healthy with your diabetes is to make sure that the people around you know about your diabetes. So if you're going out with friends, make sure that they know that you have diabetes and what they would need to do in case of an emergency. And same with your teachers and your boss and whatever the heck. Just so that people know if an emergency were to occur, they would know what to do. And my last piece of advice, last thing that I do to keep myself healthy and take care of my diabetes is listen to my doctor. That's probably the most important thing that you can do, because your doctor is obviously the person that knows the most about how to keep you healthy, and they have your best interest at heart. So listen to their advice, listen to their suggestions, because they will definitely work with you, especially if you're in pediatric diabetes care. They'll definitely work with you and help you to better take care of yourself and make sure that you have the best quality of life possible. Anyways, I apologize that this video was so all over the place, but that is it for me today. I hope that this video helped you learn a little bit more about type 1 diabetes, or if you have type 1 diabetes, we could just vibe with each other and just, you know, just like, yes. Before I end off this video, I'm going to do the comment of the week, so I'm going to pull that up really quickly. This week's comment of the week is from Blue-Eyed Blondie, and it says, "You never fail to make me laugh. Between your personality and your humor, it's hard not to love your videos. As always, I absolutely enjoyed watching this, and I can't wait for your next video. You're just so unique with the way in which you make videos, like I can't explain it. Anyway, before I drag on this tangent, I'll end it by saying that you're my favorite YouTuber, and I love you so much." And this is so, so sweet. I've seen a lot of comments from Blue-Eyed Blondie on my videos, and you're just the nicest person ever, and I just want to thank you for your endless support and for this super kind message. You are so sweet, and I love you. And that goes out for all of you as well. You all leave me such sweet messages, and it just really warms my heart and makes me want to keep doing this. If you want to be next week's comment of the week, just comment something down below and I might choose it. You'll just have to wait and see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment anything you want down below, and subscribe if you want to. And I can't wait to film another video for you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Love you.